Alright guys, this will be very short and very sweet as we provide to you guys every day. It's none other than the Jordan Garber Now news update, your quick 5-minute fix to keep posted on the Jordan Garber Now podcast. Now we're trying something new once again. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on Twitter. Reap616, thanks for tuning in. So we're also on YouTube. So we have 4 major platforms that we have streaming simultaneously. So Scout Bark, thanks for tuning in. Twitter, you might see me at a weird angle. Goes for all the other providers. It's because I actually have to turn halfway, like a 180-degree angle to the right to face my Twitter audience as well. So you'll see my face moving around quite a bit. But what else is new? That's not really much of the point, but, you know, in case everyone is wondering or complaining about the stream, there's nothing I can do because I have 4 cameras simultaneously recording me. So, just let me know, though. Keep sending feedback because when you guys do, I'm aware of things, and that leads me to my first announcement, which is Jordan Garber Now is still on Anchor.fm. However, it's not our main source. Stupid me. Looking at my podcast numbers, I thought those were listeners. Those are actually people that downloaded the Anchor.fm app. So if you already have it, great. Feel free to tune in. But to people who are messaging me saying that they had trouble tuning into the show because they had to download the app, you can now listen to it on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We'll be putting it up at 10, but it should be up there by 10:15. So we're going to make it Sundays at 10:30. So everyone can listen live on Google Podcasts if you have a computer, if you have an iPhone or iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and if you have an Android device and use Spotify, you can also download Spotify. But Google Podcasts will be our big boy and our main provider, and my Twitter stream just automatically ended. So I guess Twitter is eliminated from contention here in this daily news update. But I want to talk about Raw. I can't really figure out the Twitter issue because it's literally... I don't know what's going on. Shit. Alright. Well, that's kind of shitty. Twitter is our biggest source of viewership. Instagram, I'm sorry, but you guys suck. You guys have... Not barely anyone tunes in on the Instagram feed. Facebook, I'd say fucking mediocre. Someone who's... some person trying to party could probably get more views on Instagram or Facebook. But Twitter is our strong stream. Rafa Luke, thanks for tuning in. Brazil Professional Wrestling, search it up. That's what he does. That's where he's from. Such a great product they have over there. I was putting that over on Twitter. But in mainstream stuff here, once again, sorry to our Twitter audience, you can tune in on Instagram or Facebook. In mainstream news here, Monday Night Raw started with the new tag team champions, the Street Profits. They defeated none other than Seth Rollins and Murphy here. And we had Ricochet and Riddick Moss, in which he retained his 24/7 title. Aleister Black defeated Anderson, and AJ Styles also defeated Aleister Black after following the match. Liv Morgan defeated Ruby Riott, and Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. My favorite match of the night, winner Shayna Baszler, pound for pound, one of my favorite women's wrestlers. She's literally one of the toughest in the locker room, and she always puts up a good fight. What a great match, and that leads to your main event, which I'm not going to go too much over because that's a quick newscast. But Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza, and Rade. And in that match, Rey Mysterio and Carrillo prevailed. But the biggest part was when it went to the main event. I shouldn't say main event, the main segment, sorry. Corbett, thanks for tuning in. Where we had Randy Orton confront Beth Phoenix for his hideous actions on Edge. And what happened? Beth Phoenix got it. And Beth Phoenix was laid out in a stretcher, and she was helped, quote, from WrestlingInc.com, was helped out by Natalya, Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder, Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, and Hall of Famer Devon Dudley, which is a producer, and Raw went off the air. What's Randy Orton got going through his mind? I don't know. Maybe he's on some PCP. Maybe he's on a bit of that, like, drugs. Maybe he hasn't had a cigarette for a few weeks. I know that's what that leads people doing, but, like, I don't fucking know. We'll see what happens, fans, you know? What do you guys think? tweet at Jordan Garber now and tell us the situation on Randy Orton and what he's going to do next. Be sure to stay tuned in the conversation. Speaking of Randy Orton and big names, a guy who's had a lot of great matches with him was none other than Alberto Del Rio. Still waiting on a response and a status from Alberto Del Rio. If it is the case that Alberto Del Rio is on the show, it will be one of my biggest interviews ever. So hopefully Alberto Del Rio gets on the program here. A great interview today was conducted with none other than Massive Damage, one of the top wrestlers here in Canadian wrestling for over 20 years. He's a 26-year vet, and he talked about being trained by the legendary Leo Burke, the school that he has running. I can just give you guys a shout out for that. Check that out. Monster Pro Wrestling right there. If you want to be a wrestler, that's where you go. So it was a great interview. It was a great interview, and he has a lot of great stories, and he provided great insight. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's going to be about an hour show next Sunday, because that interview is 40 minutes of great stories. One of my favorite I've ever done. And apparently, fun fact on Jordan Garber now, was Massive Damage's first podcast interview. So that is pretty interesting, and I was an honor to be the first one. So I'm sure he doesn't do a lot of interviews because a lot of podcasters don't like asking the right questions sometimes. And you know what? Sometimes I'm one of those guys. I am not a perfect journalist. I'm not a perfect podcaster. And if people that are watching, eventually on YouTube, because that's where most people will be watching it. Once again, hello guys. You probably saw my whole head down the entire time. That's because I'm streaming to Facebook and Instagram, in which no one are watching, and our strong stream has failed. So, first try, but it doesn't really matter, so who cares? But, yeah, what's going on YouTube? Anyways, so next Sunday, 10:30, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple if you want to get technical. Massive Damage will be on the show. There will be a post show, just like I'm doing right now, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll have an archive up on YouTube as well. I'm looking to get a big name every month and interview the best in each province and the best in each state. That's the goal for Jordan Garber Now. You can follow us on Twitter at Jordan Garber Now, jordangarbernow.blogspot.com. And for up to date on what I'm doing, facebook.com/jgarber1, the same Twitter handle, and we'll stay up to date. I will be doing this every day. I will be providing a daily news update on these platforms for the time being. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned, most importantly, every single Sunday, 10:30 p.m. Central, on Google Podcasts. Have a great night, everybody. Take it easy. And if you're drinking, drive safe.